All right, guys. So we're going to be talking about Immortal Thor, Volume 4, the Son of Thor. This is another book sent to me by my friend Chris. Thank you as always, brother. And yeah, he also sent me Volume 5, so I'm basically going to be wrapping up Immortal Thor long before the first trade of Mortal Thor comes out, which is basically Ali Wing's second act in his Thor run. Immortal Thor, as he said, is basically Act 1 of his grand Thor story. And then Volume 2, Mortal Thor will be like Act 2. I don't know what Immortal Thor is gonna look like in Volume 3, but yeah. So I have been covering Immortal Thor. I've been really liking it. I know it hasn't really garnered a lot of interest on the channel, if I'm being honest, but I have basically tried to keep up with Immortal Thor because I've been really enjoying it as a series, and I would recommend you guys check it out too. Ali Wing's Thor feels like mixing old Nordic myth that a lot it feels like a updated version of Walt Simonson's run. You can really feel like the Walt Simonson influence in this series. But yeah. It's also we got some reference to Donny Cates' run as well, which I feel like Donny Cates' run is kind of contentious because sadly he didn't get to finish it, just like his Hulk run. And how it petered out at the end is because it was from a different writer, and because Cates had suffered a car accident that had damaged his body, so they had to continue the book without him. Anyway, which sucks, but I from what I understand, he is coming back to comics. But I digress. So, Immortal Thor, Volume 4. So for reference, because there is a lot we have to talk about for reference, in this comic, essentially what has occurred is that the primal race of the Asgardians, the Utgardians, have returned. And the Utgardians, alongside Thor's mother Gaia, are planning to destroy mankind and start a new age. However, Thor, of course, is trying to stop that. But on top of that, he also deals with the Enchantress and Dario Agger, who basically buy Marvel Comics and twist his mind, and now everyone hates him on Earth. So Thor is kind of barred from Midgard because he can't go back to the Avengers because, well, he's kind of wanted criminal now because he's believed to be the murderer of Dario Agger, which turns out it's not true because Dario Agger just put his body in a clone body and is now doing stuff. There's also Enchantress revealed that she wants the resurrection of her son. So Thor has to help with that. That was something I didn't cover in the other volume, but yeah. There's a lot. So this comic follows up with that, and it's really cool because this one feels like Ali Wing clearly has a love for not just Walt Simonson's Thor, but also has a legit love for Thor in a lot of Thor stuff in general. I really it's really clear that the dude really loves the Thor mythos, whether it be Nordic or comic or otherwise. So what I mean by that is Dario Agger's big thing of trying to draw Thor, get more people turned against Thor, is to get some of his classic Earth villains that aren't the Wrecking Crew, excuse me. He basically gets together Radioactive Man, Cobra, and Mr. Hyde, and the Grey Gargoyle. Yeah, for those who don't know, those were all Thor villains. I know they no one really thinks of them as Thor villains, but Mr. Hyde, Grey Gargoyle, Cobra, Radioactive Man, all of those dudes started out as early Stan Lee and Jack Kirby era Thor villains. They basically were some of his earliest rogues gallery. So Agger brings them together to fight Thor in the first half of this story. The other half deals with Amora bringing back her son, but it's not the son she lost. It is actually Maggie. Maggie in Nordic mythology is the son of Thor and Sif, but in here and it actually references Dan Jurgens' Thor run, the one that led to Ragnarok and Thor and all of Asgard being gone away until JMS brought it all back. Essentially, in that timeline, Magni was basically the son of Thor and Enchantress, and Thor was going crazy, trying to take over the world till he realized, oh shit, I'm fucking everything up. So Magni is now brought back in this timeline as the heir of Thor, mostly because Immortal wanted to use Magni because in case Thor died as prophesized, Magni would be the heir to Asgard. So she wanted to rule through him, but Magni's too good at it. He's just too good. So Magni's obviously going to play a later part in the Thor run. Meanwhile, you have Loki, who's back to being a villain again. I say they because he is they are gone back to a gender-neutral role throughout the comic. So they, alongside Bor, Thor's great-grandfather, is planning to stop Utgard Loki through like a dark spell that involves Thor's death. There is a lot to this comic, and I'm actually shocked as to how much Al Ewing can put into a Thor into each issue. This is 5 issues, and the whole comic is the whole Immortal Thor series is basically 25 issues, and to put so much in 25 issues just kind of goes to show how good of a writer Al Ewing is. Anyway, getting back on topic. The comic balances this Stan Lee fun at the first half, because really the villains are just here because I have this genuine suspicion, this honest to God suspicion that Ewing just wanted to have a quick scene of I don't really have a plan for them. Maybe down the road he does obviously he does of how they build it. But he was you know what? No one ever uses these early Thor villains. Everyone wants to use Asgardians. So I'm going to make a quick story involving all of these characters. Yeah. The artwork, I will say, is fine. I think there are some faces from Jan Bazaldua and Matt Hollingworth. The artwork kind of ranges back and forth. Sometimes it looks really good, other times it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, and other times I just feel like there's some angles off. But the art is serviceable for what we have here. We get more of the Utgard Thor, Toranos, and how his story ends. And again, we really Al Ewing plucks from the Donny Cates run, which he did co-write, with Cates towards the end, especially involving the story with Donald Blake, who basically, after going crazy and nearly wiping out Asgard, that happened in the Cates run, he was bonded to a variant of the Venom symbiote. So now he's calling himself the Midgard Serpent, and he's out, and we touch back with that, and we're also touching back with the Black Winter from Cates' run, along with the whole thing of Thanos with the gauntlet, with the hammer, with the Infinity Hammer and the Black Gauntlet, and the army of Marvel zombies. So I have this feeling that Al Ewing is going to finish those plot lines from the Donny Cates run throughout his series, because it's very clear we're touching base back on that. All in all, this is a great book 4 of the penultimate chapter of the Immortal Thor saga, and yeah, the next book will obviously be book 5 I'll be reviewing, called Death of the Immortal Thor. So you guys tell me in the comments below if you've been reading Immortal Thor. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of it. Comment, like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Other than that, Chris, thank you once again for the book, and other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.